Hello, everyone. I am Anoo Bhopti. I'm one of the board directors from PRACY, or Professionals and Researchers in Early Childhood Intervention. Today, I'm going to present research snapshot number 23, and the title of this snapshot is Autism, Identity and Clinical Practice, Supporting Positive Identity Development in Neurodivergent Children and Young People. The authors of this study are Eloise, James Stacey, and Matthew T.D. Knight. Before I begin, in the spirit of reconciliation, PRACY, as well as I, acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to the elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. So what do you need to know before we begin is that neurodivergence is an umbrella term to refer to people whose neurodevelopment falls outside of or diverges from the range usually considered to constitute typical development. Social identity theory suggests that individuals tend to categorize themselves and others into social groups, deriving a sense of identity and self-concept from group membership. This affiliation can contribute to well-being and self-esteem by providing a sense of belonging and shared meaning. In this paper, the researchers have explored autistic identity development in relation to stigma towards autism within society, demonstrating that experiences of discrimination, internalized stigma, and masking one's autistic identity are associated with poorer mental health outcomes. Another thing the authors talk about is professionals' conceptualizations of autism significantly shape how autistic people are treated and understood. At worst, promoting cues for ableism, including dehumanization and stigmatization. The interactions that children have with professionals in diagnostic and support services therefore have important implications for identity development. Epistemic power, that is referred to in the paper, is the power to decide what counts as truth. Epistemic power refers to the power to shape what is accepted as knowledge, whose perspectives are seen as credible, and whose voices can be heard. We are shifting from a deficit-based medical models that pathologize difference into neuroaffirmative frameworks. So identity is co-constructed through relationships with significant others in a child's life, including the interface with clinicians, professionals they meet. So this research is a qualitative study, explored the experiences of clinicians who were working in UK in Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, or CAMS, and regarding their role in fostering positive neurodivergent identity in children and young people. The research aimed to understand how clinicians make sense of their role in supporting identity development, what factors enable or constrain this support within current service provision, and how professional reflections can inform clinical expertise in fostering positive identity. So what did the researchers do? The researchers conducted 9 semi-structured interviews with a multidisciplinary team of clinicians, including psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and nurses. They used interpretative phenomenological analysis, or IPA as we call it, to explore how these professionals made sense of the clinical and social worlds. So what did they find? So they did a thematic analysis and 4 main themes were identified. 1, a flexible neuroaffirmative concept of identity. Clinicians are moving away from deficit-based medical models towards validating neurodivergent ways of being what foreground strengths. Theme 2, being honest and balanced. Acknowledging the very real challenges of growing up in a world designed for typical brains, including low self-esteem and the impact of long diagnostic waiting times. Theme 3 was titled Developing an Identity Through Relationships with Others. Identity is co-constructed. It is shaped by how parents, siblings, schools, and professionals perceive and respond to a child's differences. And theme 4 was professional vulnerability in navigating neurodivergent identities, the importance of self reflexivity. Clinicians must reflect on their own relationship to neurodiversity as their personal values and lived experiences influence how they support young people. So, how can we use this research? There are a few recommendations. The first one is audit your language. So, audit clinical and educational language and shift away from pathologizing deficit based language towards more neuroaffirmative terminology. Example, co occurring instead of comorbid. Facilitate community to act as an active narrator of identity. Support young people by sowing seeds of positive self concept. Look for opportunities to connect young people with the broader autistic community to foster collective self esteem. Create reflective professional spaces. Engage in self reflexivity regarding your own relationship to neurodiversity. Advocating for professional spaces to consider how you place yourselves and what are your own biases impact your clinical work. And lastly, advocate for systemic change. Use qualitative evidence from this paper and other papers to push for resources, training, and policy shifts. Where to from here? Investigate perspectives, co-produce service changes with young autistic people, address systemic resource gaps such as long waiting lists that put mental health at risk, and advocate for changes that embed neurodiversity informed frameworks across healthcare and education. Here I have provided you with a link to the article, and the authors, Eloise Stark, James Stacey, and Matthew T.D. Knight, all of them work at the Oxford Institute for Clinical Psychology Training and Research at Oxford Health NHS Foundation Trust and University of Oxford in UK. Here is the citation to this paper. Thank you for listening.